This is the 2025 Jeep Wagoneer Series 2 Overland Edition. It's a large, luxury three-row SUV that is loaded with off-road ready features. In this video, we're going to check it out and then we're going to put it to the test. Right now on Driving Sports TV. This episode of Driving Sports TV is brought to you by Onyx Off-Road. Click the link below to save 20% off your new membership using the code DSTV. When the Wagoneer sub-brand launched back in 2022, it was going to be a whole thing. It was not a Jeep Wagoneer, it was simply Wagoneer. Well, unfortunately, that whole sub-brand thing didn't really work out, so now Jeep has caught up with the rest of the world in calling this a Jeep Wagoneer. And this may be the most Jeep of a Wagoneer that you can buy today. It is, of course, the 2025 Wagoneer Series 2 Overland Edition. It is a mid-level trim that features some nice off-road ready parts from the factory, including all-terrain tires, air suspension, recovery hooks, extensive underbody protection, a rear locking differential, and a dual-speed transfer case. It also gets 20-inch wheels, a large 10.1-inch infotainment system, remote start, a trailer brake controller, and a panorama sunroof. Price as you see it here, $77,320 US, including destination. Under the hood is a Hurricane twin-turbo 3-liter inline 6-cylinder. It makes a peak 420 horsepower and 468 pound-feet of torque. Got a nice plaque here too, Wagoneer, built in America. Although I believe it's like 25% of the parts actually come from Mexico. It is what it is. It is connected to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and it powers all 4 wheels with an automatic full-time 4-wheel drive system. EPA rates economy at 16 miles to the gallon in town and 23 on the highway. Towing is limited to 10,000 pounds. Under the floor is an unmatched spare. Inside there's plenty of room for 8 plus their gear. Fold all the seats flat and you get an impressive 122.9 inches of cargo capacity. A couple of notes about this Overland trim: it is a limited edition, so if you want one, get on down to your Jeep dealer and get in line. Also, I do love the whole two-tone look of this thing. We have the dark silver here, black on the roof. The tow hooks are also black, so they kind of blend in, which is nice. And then you have, oh, that's plastic. Anyhow, I think this is a very good-looking machine, and obviously it is quite large. My only real problems with this thing on the outside are, of course, the tires. They're Falken Wildpeak AT3WA. That is a subversion of the tire. We kind of call it the Mild Peak. And then, of course, we have step boards on the side, which are not really that great for off-roading because they kind of hang down and they will break the moment you hit a rock. I would much prefer rock sliders. Anyhow, let's check out the back. That is a lot of room. So back here we get 12-volt DC, have a subwoofer from the Alpine system. I can also use buttons to lower the rows electrically. That is a lot of room. But can you sleep in it? Suspension's all the way up, so this is kind of tall. I'll have to jump in. Yep, like there was any doubt. The floor is flat, and I have a ton of room. I can even sit up all the way. There's actually a little cutout here where the glass is. Now, do we get anything under the floor here? Oh, little storage bin with the jack. And then, of course, under here we do get a full-size spare, but it is not a matching spare. It is running an all-season tire. Okay, second row. Oh, yeah. I mean, this is a big SUV and it feels massive. I got tons of room in the second row here. I am 6'1", legs torso proportionate. Got lots of room for legs, room for my head. Down here I have full climate controls, which is great, plus heated seats on the 2 outboard seats. And then below that I have AC power, is 150 watts, a 12-volt, and then I also have USB-C and USB-A combo jacks. Overall, pretty nice place to be. Do I get a flip down here? Oh yeah, look at that. Flip down armrest. I can even put my phone right there. And yeah, I rather like that big panorama sunroof too. Lets in a lot of light. I mean, it's pretty much like the last time we drove Wagoneer. We have lots of gloss plastic over here, which I do not like. This is going to scratch something tremendous, but at least they give me a little bit more of a safe space down here to throw, you know, beverages, keys, whatever. And then over here we have a large, it's actually a rather large storage bin where I could probably even fit an iPad or a purse down there. Under this little lid, we have even more storage space, which is where I can put my phone. There is a wireless charger back there. This 10.1-inch display is kind of on the small side. Their OS, though, is a pretty decent one. It seems to do a pretty good job. We have home, media, comfort, nav, phone for mobile integration. We can do either, you know, Android Auto or wireless Apple CarPlay. And that does bring me to the sponsor of this video, Onyx Off-Road. We love Onyx Off-Road for planning our off-road adventures. Which trails to drive? How hard are they? Are they even open? Onyx Off-Road provides all that information in addition to tools to help plan and organize your next adventure. Have you watched one of our mini road trip videos? We use Onyx Off-Road to plan and navigate every adventure. And right now you can get 20% off your premium or elite membership to Onyx Off-Road with the code DSTV. That's of course an abbreviation for Driving Sports TV. Look for the link in the video description below or click this QR code. Now over here in vehicle settings, it takes a moment to load, but this gives me the option to enable and disable features. I can also go to the off-road or the GPS trail logs here, which is kind of cool. Actually, that is something that this does that you also get with Onyx Off-Road. Onyx Off-Road gives you trail logs or, you know, breadcrumbs essentially. They actually have that integrated here in the software in navigation, which is very, very unique among car makers. So once I'm in the off-road pages, I can look at the dynamic setup, which is essentially how the four-wheel drive system is configured, as well as my rear locker. I have extra gauges, I have pitch and roll data, and I can also go into the select terrain system, which I have buttons for down here as well. And there are 5 different drive modes, and that will vary the vehicle to handle each terrain slightly different. We have sport, auto, snow, sand, mud, and rock, sand and mud being a singular mode. And then of course I also have a push button here for 4 low. Long gone are the days of shifting levers. And over here I have another button for select speed, which is their version of a crawl control system. Steering wheel, really nice. It is wrapped. It has contrast stitching, which is very subtle. I have very easy controls over just a myriad of gauges and configurations that you can do with this. On the right side, I do get control over the adaptive cruise control system, which is included in this trim level. Standard mirror, collision mitigation, blind spot warning, and that covers all of the basics. Now, of course, you can get many 3-row mid-size vehicles, but the problem with those is that once you fill up all 3 rows with passengers, there's no room for cargo left over. This one is what you need if you want to take the entire family out and bring their cargo with them. Under the hood of this Wagoneer is, of course, the Hurricane Inline 6. This is a magnificent motor that they have put in so many vehicles now, and for good reason. It's really good. It's powerful, it's smooth, and it also can motivate even something like this pretty quickly, up to 60 miles per hour. Let's put it to the test. Okay, I'm going to stop here. This is where we always do our 0 to 60s. I'm going to switch it into sport mode, and that's going to lower the front of the vehicle just slightly. And 3, 2, 1, punch it. Whoa! Kicks in once those turbos hit, and 60. Woohoo! 5.66 seconds. That's pretty quick for a vehicle this size. It's plenty fast. And of course, with that big motor, this thing can also tow. It'll tow up to 10,000 pounds, which is, you know, a usable amount. The Wagoneer has independent suspension on all 4 corners, and this one is also equipped with air suspension, so it can both raise and lower the vehicle depending on how you're driving and what mode you are in. It is just a really nice, all-around town, very effective system, because not only does it ride really good on the highway like this, Once you take it off-road, you can use that air suspension to help lift the vehicle up and gain ground clearance. We'll play with that in just a little bit. Now on the road here, I'm finding the seat to be pretty comfortable. I find the headrest oddly low, like my shoulders are pushing into where the headrest is, and this is at its maximum height. I find that just a little odd. I'm 6'1", I'm not particularly tall, and why are my shoulders hitting the headrest? Yeah, not a fan of that. And my head, I guess it supports it in the event of whiplash. The view is quite good out of the vehicle. It is a very commanding position because I'm sitting kind of up in the vehicle. And then of course we have digital gauge cluster and a digital infotainment system to kind of give me all the info that I need while I'm driving. This trim does not have a heads-up display, so I got to look down here for all the info. And there is a ton of info to be had on this digital gauge cluster. Right now, I have it in the twin gauges display, which I think is kind of just the norm. But I can easily hit a button and boom, I have everything from temperatures to ride height in easy reach. Now, I'm not loving this whole kind of super glossy control system that they include on here. These toggles, they don't have a very definite feel, and I swear the lights on my drive modes work half the time. So that's a little weird. It's like I'm toggling and the light isn't changing, but the drive mode is changing because it's showing up on other displays. So quality issues, possibly? Doesn't make me feel great about it. And then of course there's the issue of this high touch glossy black area. This is just going to scratch up. I just kind of wish manufacturers would go away from that. We've been harping on them for years and they still do it. Come up with something better, guys. I believe in you. I know you can do better. Now the steering wheel feels really nice. It is wrapped and of course it has contrast stitching. I have easy access to all the controls on both sides of the steering wheel. I even have a gear selector option here where I can toggle between gears, but it's like the least sporty way to do it. A push button up and down right on the steering wheel. Yeah, that's not so fun as, say, paddle shifters or something like that. Now, one thing I do find kind of odd is even at $77,000, this still does not have a digital rear view mirror. It is only a standard rear view mirror. When you have a vehicle this big and you fill it up with stuff, it's a mile from the front to the back. And side mirrors just doesn't kind of give you enough information. With a digital rear view, it would activate the camera in the back, give me a much better view of stuff behind me. I think kind of for a vehicle of this size, that's tech that really does help. Now, of course, we also have this big panorama sunroof, so lots of light gets in. Very comfortable, very cozy place to be. Hey, dear. How you doing, dear? Get off the road. Okay. Very cozy place to be, and I could definitely see eating up some miles in this rig. It is, yeah, it's kind of everything that you expect and everything that a lot of buyers of this type of vehicle would want. Now, one thing that I do find kind of surprising is how easy it is to drive the Wagoneer. Even though it is a large vehicle, it doesn't feel ginormous from behind the driver's seat. I mean, you have a football stadium behind you, but it doesn't feel like you're pulling that with you. And I think that that's actually a really nice thing. I credit that to the suspension setup and also the way that they've, designed the steering feel and all that stuff. It just comes together as a really nice ride. Now, in terms of comforts, I also, of course, have heated and cooled seats as well as a heated steering wheel here. Those are all nice touches. I do really like this motor. It's responsive and powerful, and it gives better economy than the old outgoing V8. I really think there's no downsides with going with this. Now, even those of you who might be like, oh, decrying the loss of a V8 to a V6 turbo and a V6 down to a turbo 4 and all that kind of stuff, you know what? You should drive one of these because this is a fun motor. And it's so smooth. It's very befitting, I think, a vehicle like the Wagoneer here. Something that is, it is a luxury vehicle in a sense. And I think that this motor is very appropriate for it. Now, in terms of safety, obviously this has blind spot warning, collision mitigation, rear cross traffic alerts, all that kind of stuff. but it also has adaptive cruise control. Let's go ahead and give that a try. I click set, it says it's ready. I set a target speed, and at this point, it's going to track the vehicle in front of me up to my target speed. Now, how is lane detection or lane centering? Take my hands off the wheel, let's see what it does. Seems to be tracking. Let's kind of take it off course a little bit and see if it's going to find that lane. Yeah, steering us back into the lane. Yeah, it's doing a great job. Now, obviously, this is a hands-on system. My hands are off of it just to demonstrate how the system works. This is really for, cutting down on fatigue on long trips. And I've done tons of long trips with these type of systems, and they really do help you put on the miles. Very nice setup. And it works well here. So at this point, we've covered on-road performance. It's very good, very comfortable, nice to drive. It's got plenty of power, all things good. So this, however, is a Jeep. And not only that, it's an Overland Jeep. So let's take it back to our Peninsula Proving Grounds, and we're going to see just how good this thing is off-road. Is it going to be too big? Is it going to be simply too much? Or is this something we can actually take on our trails? Let's give it a try. Let's have some fun. I'm just in auto mode. Whoa, slow down for the bump. Oh, there we go. Yeah, this thing hauls. Love it. Now, as far as our tests go today, I think what we're going to do is we're going to skip Fun Forest because this thing is just so big. But I think we're actually going to start with Rock Slide over here because there is a feature that I want to play with. And I think this will be about perfect. So, Rock Slide. So this is our rock crawl course, and it's pretty tame. I'm going to be completely honest here, because we take production vehicles through it, and a lot of the vehicles that we put on here, maybe that really wasn't what they were designed for. However, this is a Jeep. I have expectations here. Also, this is the Overland version of this Jeep, so it should be able to do some small rock sections. And to best optimize its abilities, I'm going to go ahead and shift into 4 low. There we go. Put it into drive, and then I'm going to try the select speed system where I can then use the gear select on the steering wheel here to pick my speed. It is a form of crawl control. And let's see what it can do. So right now we're at the minimum speed, which is 6 miles per hour. Now this is going to optimize, not just... Oh, you know what? It did not raise the vehicle. Let me raise the vehicle up, actually. Here, let's go all the way to rock mode. Forgot, I have to do that too. Now that'll raise the vehicle up to its maximum ride height. Should. What are we doing here? Selected ride height not permitted. Why? Okay, let's turn off select speed. Now can we do it? Okay, let's go into park. Let's raise that height. Can we raise our height? We're only on 3 out of 5. Selected ride height not permitted. Okay, well, let's go back to a somewhat level surface. Let's try it here. Now can we do it? Now we can do it. Oh, interesting. It did not like that. Didn't want to do it while we were up and crossed over on little rocks. Okay, sure. Okay, I think we're all the way on maximum height. We are. Now we're going to go into drive. Select speed is on, still on, and we're in rock mode. So this should optimize everything for low speed crawling. And the current target speed, well, the current set speed is 0.6 miles per hour, which is pretty slow. Let's get a camera on here so I can see what's going on over this massive hood. To do that, surround camera, click that. Is that going to do anything? It's not. There we go. Okay, I don't really get a trail camera though. I don't have any tracking lines or anything like that. Huh. It's not great. But at least I can kind of line up and see roughly where we're going to go for our rocks. Is 0.6 enough? Oh, and I gotta be really careful because this has side steps. Side steps get munched here sometimes as we lower down. But I think with the extra ride height here, we'll be okay. Now I'm just using the brake to kind of slow us down, and I'm using select speed to get us moving forward. I kind of would like a little bit more gradual. I mean, it seems like we're kind of lurching a little bit more than I like. But now here's the tricky part. Can we climb? We got rocks on the left, kind of a loose surface on the right. It's working its way up. Ooh, we're actually teeter-tottering there. And actually the ride is still nice, even at full height, which is interesting because very often when you're at full height on these systems, the ride quality is diminished. But this actually seems to be pretty good. I mean, all things considered. Come on, are we gonna get that sorted? Yes. Got up it, no problem. Cool. Let's try this same system on a hill descent and see how that works out. Okay, now we're gonna try select speed on hill descent control. We were in rock mode. Let's just go ahead and leave it in that for right now. Gonna approach. Where's my cameras? Why can't I just have a physical button for cameras? Let's do off-road pages. I could have swore it was in off-road pages somewhere. My rear axle is locked though. That's interesting. Go into rock mode and it automatically locks that rear diff. I guess apps surround view. And there's our front. Okay, we're about to clear those. Oh, turn select speed back on. Set the lowest speed. And we're just going to let it roll us over the hill. So now it's using brakes to ease us down. Oh, I like this. This is nice and smooth. I wish it crawled this slow. As we approach the brake, see we're sliding just a little bit. And we're going to then take the corner. And let's go to the left here so we can do this little climb up this little sandy section. And also see what the turning radius is like here. That's pretty good, especially with everything locked up. Okay, now we're going to go over a little sandy climb here. Now we are just in rock mode. Actually, let's turn it from rock mode. Let's go to sand mud. We should see a little bit extra wheel spin here if it needs it. And then what does it do to our rear? It unlocks our rear axle. Okay, cool. And then back to camera mode in favorites. And there we go. I am kind of surprised that we don't have proper tracking lines, like wheel tracking lines in the front camera. It seems like that would be a given considering the target of this vehicle. I'm just easing throttle on, it figures it out, moves us forward. Great job. So now we're going to test this on our Mogul trail, which will really test its ability to shift power left and right throughout the system. Now I'm not going to use a rear locker because we know it has it and we know it's good. It's a locker. It just locks things. Instead, I'm going to use the sand mud setting, which should accentuate wheel spin because it's going to give me a little bit more wheel spin, and you'll also be able to see power locking down with the individual wheel brakes to shift power around the system. And let's see what it does. So I'm still in 4 low. That means my center transfer case is locked, so power is essentially 50-50, even split. I'm going to turn on the surround view camera again. Now let's see what this does. See how much articulation we have. Now if we have good articulation, this will be able to reach down and touch the bottom of each hole. If we don't have very good articulation, we're going to be lifting wheels and tires, like we're doing right there. But we keep throttle in, and it moves us forward. So what we have going on here is improved ground clearance and a really nice ride, but the compromise is we don't have as good articulation as a vehicle that has a solid axle in the rear, for example. Yep, you can lift that front wheel right there. Okay, I see what you're doing. Now let's do sand slide. Okay, same thing, sand mud. I'm going to go as high as we can right here. Give me a little parking sensor warning, which will then lift the back outside tire and the front driver side as we add a little throttle and work our way up and over. Traction control systems are quite good on this. Articulation, not fantastic. You can see that I was lifting my back driver side wheel there. A solid axle system would never. Cool. Okay, now we're just going to continue out over the Ridgeline Trail here. We got one big ditch between us and completing the courses I wanted to do today. So dip our nose down. Lonk. Ooh. Yeah, it is surprisingly easy to lift a wheel in this thing. Whoa, now we're lifting. Now I still don't have that rear locker on, but I am in 4-low. Are we going to drag? No, of course not. With the dimensions this thing has, that's not going to happen. And then out over. That was actually really easy. And then we go out over the ridgeline here. So overall, I'd say this is a very competent vehicle. If you want to take the family out up a mountain, this is a really nice choice. It's comfortable, it's capable. There's a couple things I'm kind of like, they could have done better. I don't know why there's no trail cam on this one. If there is an actual trail cam on this rig, please let me know, because I can't find it. And I know it's a staple with most Jeep products, so I find that a little bit odd. Also, articulation, not great, but that is made up for with the excellent traction control system. So if you're going to lift a wheel, be it the front or the rear, you're always going to have some traction happening because it's so good at shifting that power around when it needs to do it. Yeah, I think my only other real concern with this vehicle is honestly depreciation. Wagoneers are not doing very hot in the resale market. And then you also, of course, I have some quality concerns, like the lights not always turning on, illuminating on the drive mode select. So would I buy one of these? I mean, especially considering this is the same price roughly as the Land Cruiser that I bought, which is a smaller vehicle with only 2 rows of seats. No, I wouldn't. 2 things, articulation, you just can't beat that. Rear solid axle is better for that. This is more for the family. This is a vehicle where you're buying it as a family first vehicle. You're going to go up into the mountains, you're going to have some fun, you're going to go ski, you're going to do that kind of stuff. You're not necessarily going to go do really challenging trails with it. It's just not designed for that. Mostly, I mean, the biggest indication is the fact that it has side steps. Those things are not going to survive one day out on a difficult trail. But if you do equip this properly with some sliders, if you can find some, and put in some smaller wheels with a bigger tire, I think this thing actually would probably eat up quite a lot. I mean, it has a standard rear locker, it has a low range, it has lots of drive modes, and then for when you need that extra traction control system, it really does deliver. It's an excellent traction control setup. So overall, very impressed with this. I would say as a lease vehicle, this would be awesome. I would totally lease one of these. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share videos. We make them for you. I hope you enjoy them. And we'll see you again right here on the next one.